and we ended up winning. So. I've actually been involved with Bitcoin since around 2016. So when it forked into Bitcoin Cash, I looked at the two arguments, the two sides, and I respected the opinion of the Bitcoin Cash side a lot more. You know, scaling, building for money was, I thought, a lot better. And then in the Bitcoin Cash and the Bitcoin SV fork, I again followed the community, and I watched for some time after that before sort of choosing a side directly. But it was more to do with the personalities that went towards Bitcoin SV and their attitude towards maintaining a stable protocol and not changing anything. But I didn't start seriously building on Bitcoin until 2019. My co-founder and I have actually been really good friends since high school, so we go way back. We often used to discuss Bitcoin and BSV. We sat around a table, we were supposed to be studying, and we ended up arguing for 2 hours over over different Bitcoin protocols and things like that. My co-founder and I also entered in the first Bitcoin SV Hackathon. That was our first sort of experience building on Bitcoin and playing around with it. And we had a really good time. We thought it was a really good experience. So we re-entered in the second BSV Hackathon. And again, it was just to see what we could do, see what we could build. So the theme was put out as micropayments. So we just sat there brainstorming for many, many hours on what good ideas were to do with micropayments. Obviously, both being developers, we were both interested and had used APIs and understood that building APIs was difficult to monetize. So that's what we saw as the problem we wanted to solve. And then we decided to use micropayments to do that in building Codugh as an API marketplace. So the timing was sort of interesting for us because we're Australian, so the 48 hours sort of built to be on over the weekend in, I believe it was Europe. So the timing was a bit weird for us, so I actually had to sort of see what the theme was. We discussed it a bit overnight, and then in the morning or the afternoon, Saturday afternoon, I think, is when I went over to my co-founder Andrew's house. And then together we started brainstorming. We spent several hours brainstorming before we actually started building. Saturday night was a late night, and then Sunday was also a long day. We were pressed for time. We both had work on Monday as well, right? So we just had to try to finish everything up, dust it off as quickly as we could. Had a couple of late nights, but we got it done in actually much less than 48 hours, more like 36 hours, because like I said, we had work on Monday. We had commitments we had to get to. By the end, we were happy. It was a fully functional MVP product, so while it might not have been secure, it worked. You know, you could actually make API calls and transactions and bill users within the 36 hours. So we're really happy with what we managed to produce. Our sort of philosophy is that when you're building a product, you have to think business first, tech second, and that's the only way you can build a successful product. So we tried to ideate a problem, right? And like I said, a problem was that it was really hard for developers to monetize code that they build. And that was a problem that we had to solve. We had a market then, right? Software developers who had problems monetizing their own code. And then we built a product based on that. Both of us flew to Seoul to do the hackathon finalist pitches in late 2019. So that was a really nerve-wracking experience for us, right? We came to this conference and we talked to a lot of, great builders and great business minds in the BSV community. And talking with them and explaining our product to them, we actually got quite confident because we knew we had something good, that's something the people were really interested in. And then finally, when we presented on stage, obviously we were extremely nervous and it was extremely difficult at the time. But looking back, it looks quite good. It doesn't look like we're nervous up there, even though we were, and we ended up winning. So that was pretty spectacular. This is Codugh. So this is the landing page. As you can see, there's a lot of information about how we work and what we do, and you can jump through to engage into some more links and get more information. And if you're an API consumer, you can jump here and you can check out our marketplace. There are some interesting products here, and you can see the APIs that you've listed right here. So as you can see, I've got some drafts and some things that I've played around with. The billing screen allows you to add BSV and into your wallet and use it over time. It pulls data directly from what's on chain. When we jump back onto the marketplace, let's call an API. So here we go, this is the API screen. As you can see, it shows some information when it was created, success rate, some basic information on the API, and also detailed instructions on how to call it. So since this API is very simple, all we have to do is send a single GET request. Let me pull this over and let me jump over to Postman. So as you can see here, that's loaded here. And when I send a request, it immediately returns Pong. And just like that, you can jump into billing. Once more, you can check out your address on what's on chain. You can see it right here, unconfirmed transaction, sent straight away. So that's a quick demo of Codugh. we kept validating, we kept ideating, we just tried talking to customers. So we spent months and months literally just talking to new customers and trying to figure out how to build the best product possible. And once we had an idea on that, we kept building. Since then, we've been building and building and improving until we have the product where it is now. So we had we were in private beta for about a year. We recently had a full public release, and we've been building sort of interesting stuff to allow our users to have a better experience, like a microtransaction token that we're currently working on. Hackathon was really, really fantastic for us because we got a whole lot of exposure, we got a whole lot of user feedback, and it allowed us to build a much better product for a much wider audience than we could have otherwise done quickly. Well, what BSV has, I think, that makes it better is scalability, a dedication to a stable protocol, and low fees, right? Those are the things we know BSV has, and that's the reason why we're all here, right? Because we know it has those, and we know it will keep those, and there's a roadmap to making fees even lower, scalability even higher, and we see that, we know that is going to come to pass. That's what makes BSV really, really cool, and that's why I love BSV and why I'm here right now. What BSV lacks, I think, is sort of ease of development, and specifically to do with tokens and smart contracts. And that's something that's being built right now. So it's in its infancy, I think, in the BSV community in terms of developer tools and then also ways to integrate smart contracts and tokens. Well, I think the biggest trouble is hackathon participants are always software engineers, right? And that means that you often come from a tech-first approach. So I think the most important thing when you're entering a hackathon is come from a business-first approach and then apply your technical knowledge afterwards. Think about a problem, find a real problem that real users have, think of a business idea that fixes that problem, and then build an interesting technical solution that addresses your business problem. I think that's the way to really win a hackathon, if you can prove that you have a market and you can prove that it's a business that can make money.